Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this special bulletin. Monster Hunter Wilds released last week. I'm having a blast, although the plague kind of set me back on how much I've been able to play and stream it. And, well, there's a few window licking, paint chip eating, room temperature IQ takes going around, and I'd really like to talk about them. And by talk about them, I do generally mean point and laugh. So let's get started, shall we? Monster Hunter Wilds has been breaking some massive records. It's reported 8 million copies in 3 days. This article was written, published 6 days ago at the time of this recording. So, Lord knows, it's very interesting because Monster Hunter Wilds has, it has rather mixed reviews coming out with piss poor optimization on PC, and yet over on Steam, you still had 1.3 million people playing it. You had peak hours of almost 1 million on a regular, consistent basis, and yet you had individuals like this. What happened? 75% drop after a week? If you notice this little number right there, I was kind of, mentioned this over on Twitter X, whatever the hell Elon Musk wants to call it, before and after it crashes. 75% drop. Now, where on earth could that number come from? Well, let's go take a look at Steam database. You have low number, 457,433. Oh, wait, let's look all the way over here. The wee hours of the morning of 306,000 players. 8 a.m. UTC on Monday. On a Monday. Numbers like this are taken in the middle of the night to push some sort of narrative, an unknown, unreasonable, and unexplainable narrative for such a rather popular IP. Some people are complaining about the mechanics being, I guess, dumbed down for normies. And, well, Capcom made a decision, wanting to get people out there. You want to complain about the optimization on PC? Can't really say anything about that. But talking about the numbers dropping? Come on now. Let's try this. I mean, you even got window lickers like Harmon Smith excited, running his mouth about how 75% dropped because Monster Hunter Rise, the real Monster Hunter, they got that on the Nintendo platform. Why would you even listen to Harmon Smith when you have numbers like this that are easily, provably, factually incorrect? I do often wonder what is going on in people's heads. Why are you waiting for particular times of the day when the numbers have bottomed out in the middle of the week on a Thursday, in the wee hours, the late hours of the night, wee hours in the morning when most of the general populace around the world are either sleeping or working? And yet you continue to have these peaks, 1.2 million, 1.1, an average continuous peak player count of 1 million players. Why would you push such sort of narrative? I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of jealousy. Maybe, I don't know. But over here at The Gamer, I just got a kick out of this. Why isn't Monster Hunter Wilds flopping like Dragon Age the Veilguard? I don't know. There's a little saying that I like to say all the time. A saying I like to say. Anyway, make it fun first. Cyberpunk came out to a bit of a cluster flop when it was originally released. And yet, if you see people talking about it today, they're praising it left, right, and center. Yes, that was after many years of polish and fixing and bug fixing and everything. But for me, I've loved Cyberpunk 2077 since day one. Yes, it was a glitchy, buggy mess that crashed on me on PlayStation 4 Pro every 2 hours like clockwork, and yet I still played it. I wasn't bothered by the crashes that made me get up and do other things. I don't know about optimization on Monster Hunter Wilds and how that is affecting people's enjoyment of the game, but apparently the IP is rather popular enough, and the gameplay is, I don't know, fun first. So far, I haven't found any sort of nonsensical, ideologically driven storylines that's out of the ordinary for Monster Hunter series. No, what would we go? Check boxes. No, I mean, how can you really do any race or gender swaps in a franchise that can change, that has different characters and different personalities in the game? It's not preachy. It's not, well, the dialogue isn't a massive steaming pile of hot, nonsensical modern-day garbage like the Veilguard. So, I don't know. I wonder what Andrew King has to say about this one. Monster Hunter Wilds is the latest entry in a long-running RPG series. Oh, well, you got one thing right. It's the most approachable entry in the franchise yet. I had never played any Monster Hunter games until I was introduced to Worlds. I liked the idea and the concept, and it was not the easiest thing in the world, but it was quite approachable. I had a damn good time playing it, and I learned the frustrations, the move sets, and realized that you just cannot button mash in this game and expect to accomplish anything. It takes some time, some effort, some practice. And for Monster Hunter Wilds, I see much of the same thing, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Granted, I'm still sucking like a wet diaper trying to get the combos down because, well, it's been a while since I played Worlds. So, being approachable, I guess would that be the comparison of approachability between Elden Ring versus other From Software games? I can use Elden Ring as an example. I thoroughly enjoyed that game. It got me into the Souls-like genre. And Armored Core 6, never played the previous entries, but had a blast playing that one too. How approachable does a game need to be to bring more people in while at the same time not upsetting your core fan base? I'm not entirely sure because Worlds and Wilds is my only experience with this IP. Article continues. It may have lost some of its identity in the process of sanding down some of its more unique features. Okay. Not something I've noticed, but again, I don't have that much experience. But the developers made that sacrifice in hopes of reaching a bigger audience. Where have I heard that? Oh, right. Oh, okay. So you think people's complaints about Dragon Age the Veilguard has to do with them maybe dumbing down the mechanics? Well, no. The problem with Dragon Age the Veilguard was the dialogue, the characters, the world building, the story. It had nothing to do with everything else surrounding what make the game fun. Dragon Age the Veilguard is the latest entry in a long-running RPG series that shit the bed. It's the most approachable entry in the franchise yet. What's so not approachable about the other Dragon Age games? Oh, we're comparing a pile of feces to, a medium rare steak, T-bone? Not a very good comparison. It may have lost some of its identity in the process of sanding down. Oh, we're just going to repeat ourselves to pad the word count. Approachable for me, but not for thee. Oh, let's see what this says. Monster Hunter Wilds has been a huge hit, yes, shifting 8 million copies despite its problems. That is a testament to the game. That is a testament to whether it is fun or not, especially on PC. Makes you wonder, well, I guess we know how many copies are sold because you got a million people playing on PC at any given moment in peak hours, as well as however many people are playing on PlayStation. So 8 million copies? I don't know. What do you think the ratio from PC to PlayStation is there? Y'all give me a guess in the comments. Beating the previous 3-day record set by Monster Hunter World's 5 million copy start. So in other words, a very popular franchise, much like Dragon Age the Veilguard. What's the difference? I don't know. Maybe the character creator reveal didn't come out and praise ideological checkbox bullshit with the character creator. That may have been something. The developer, I don't remember them saying anything about being some sort of gendermancer in real life, pushing and talking nonstop in the marketing about inclusivity, queer this, trans that, surgery scars, blah, blah, blah. Something that, well, gamers, potential customers are sick and tired of hearing about. Now, sure, Monster Hunter Wilds also brought up the body type A and body type B. That is, again, something that gamers are getting a little tired of. But obviously it didn't seem to hurt the sales. The other announcement, which, I went back and forth with a few people on Twitter about the removal of gendered restrictions on armor. Nobody seemed to have a problem with that, even though particular hill they wanted to die on, you think they would. But hey, what do I know? Maybe they just didn't want to go after such a popular IP as Monster Hunter, afraid of the backlash, but who knows? As I write this, Wilds is still #1 bestseller on Steam. I really do wish we had the numbers for like PlayStation and Xbox so we could have a far better comparison on how much console versus PC sales are. If a game is made strictly for console and yet is released to Steam, not necessarily, or a PC, and not necessarily 100% optimized for PC, maybe in the case of Monster Hunter Wilds as an example, what are those numbers? What are those differences? When do we get to see those numbers? PlayStation and Xbox? When? Where was I? Though we don't want to count chickens before they hatch, 8 million sales and 1 million people playing on average. It's safe to say that the gambit worked. What gambit? Capcom went after the audience that had been scared off by previous games' unfriendly reputation and reeled them in hook, line, and sinker with a streamlined on-ramp, easier fights, and a greater emphasis on story and characters. Is that a problem? Some people like more story than less story. As far as the fights being easier, there are a few of them that I've run into. Maybe it's because I'm just a scrub and can't get the combos down, but there are some of them that are just as frustrating as Worlds. But I do have a thought. I think when I get into the later game content, I'll get raffle stomped a few more times. We'll have to wait and see. Dragon Age Veilguard, meanwhile, only managed to shift. That is a lie. This is an absolute lie. Managed to shift 1.5 million units in the first quarter. Bold-faced lie. It was 1.5 million interactions, which means that people may not necessarily have even bought the game. Perhaps they had access to it because of EA Plus's little subscription service as well. And now, of course, 4 months after release, Dragon Age the Veilguard is free on PlayStation Network from the monthly subscribers. Seems like that strong debut was largely caused by Dragon Age's faithful showing up in huge... Hold on a second, I gotta read that again. That low number was surprising. No, it wasn't, because it was a terrible game. Given that Veilguard enjoyed EA's best single-player Steam release ever with 70,000 launch day. And yet, once people started playing it and find out all about the boring combat, nonsensical dialogue, and horrible characters, it fell off a cliff. Completely and totally. Fell off a cliff to a point where, well, EA had no actual desire of releasing concrete numbers of sales. It seems like that strong debut was largely caused by the Dragon Age faithful showing up in a huge number on the strength of love for the series and the strong reviews. Ah, yes, the strong reviews, yes. So that initial number, yeah. So that was because people love Dragon Age. They wanted the franchise to be successful, to be fun again, to go back to basics, I guess. And again, then they played it and found out how strong those reviews really were. Once players actually got their hands on the game, though, the tides quickly turned and Veilguard was unable to break out into the mainstream. Well, yeah, because people found out for themselves and realized how much of a shit game it was. Almost like that's how it works. Word of mouth, finding out for themselves. Plus, if you get something on Steam, if you buy a game on Steam, you can try it out for 2 hours. And if you don't like it, you get a refund, unlike the individuals at Sony, PlayStation. Anyway, if you're wondering how Veilguard's launch compared to Inquisition, nope, don't care. Room to shrink. Let's see, both games were attempting to grow beyond their established fan bases to reach a more mainstream audience. One of them succeeded. One of them failed miserably, fell off a cliff. So why did the strategy work so well for Monster Hunter and so poorly for Dragon Age? Oh, how about this? And then I'm going to finish off this video. Why did it work so well for Monster Hunter? Well, you had a popular IP without a developer coming out to insult the critics. You had a developer that was just letting the game stand for itself, stand on its own. Here, we want you to try our game. We hope you like it. Now, what Dragon Age the Veilguard did, unlike Monster Hunter Wilds, is they ran their mouth with ideological, quote-unquote, woke propaganda bullshit that, again, potential customers, the gaming audience as a whole, in general, least the majority of it, it's a whole bunch of words that say the same thing, are tired of it. They see one or two red flags. There are some people out there that will see one little infinitesimal red flag, like a pronoun in a bio on Avowed, and will shut their wallet so tight you can't even get air in and out of it. It becomes just not even a cockroach would survive inside. That is where we are as customers when it comes to video games, TV shows, entertainment across the board. One little sniff of preachy ideological BS and people are done. I myself, meaning with my channel and everything, it takes a little more than that. I'll pay attention to it. I'll talk about it. I'll even buy the game, play it, and let you find out for yourself. But hey, that's what I do. Save you some money. I'll buy it so you don't have to. The idea, why would one succeed over the other? One was preachy, nonsensical, ideological checkbox bullshit in marketing and across the board with terrible characters. And the other one was just, well, they focused on the game being fun first. Gave it a little story. What room to shrink? Oh, the idea that any of these journalists can't understand why, what on earth happened. How many videos have to be made? How many posts on social media have to be made with people saying over and over, hey, this is what we like. This is what we don't like. This game is going to fail because of this, 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 and this. 1 red flag, 2 red flags, 3 red flags. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not going to go there. Over and over again. So this idea that, well, game developers don't know what players like because the player doesn't know what the players like. No, players know what we like. Customers know what we want. The old saying, the customer is always right. Not necessarily, because the full quote is, the customer is always right in matters of taste. Whether you like it or not, whether you agree with the customer or not, when it comes to taste, the customer is right. And when it comes to taste, when looking at Dragon Age the Veilguard, well, the customer didn't want it because, well, it didn't taste good. With Monster Hunter Wilds, tastes a good bit better, at least for me. But let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Leave a like, leave a dislike, do all those nifty little things us YouTubers beg you to do. And I'm going to go look for my voice in the back of my throat. I'm not going to repeat that. Bye-bye.